You have 68 wins. You cannot 69 Mina.
Hey everyone, it is the center of attention, Brittany Brooks, and you are watching Simply Reliable Studios.
Come on over, Simply. I'm being see, earlier I said something stupid to him, and now this is my receipt. Okay?
Sabu's just sabotaging you.
Yep. He sure did. Yeah, he's taking over.
Hijacking is a better word. You're right.
Good luck.
Shout out to Simply Reliable Studios making their Symphony debut, sponsoring this match and the entire Dragon Kai demonstration.
Heyo, this is Jack Cartwheel. You are watching Simply Reliable Studios.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Noah. I believe in Datula. The Meltzer of the multiverse. Who the fuck wants to compare themselves to another? How much of a mark do you have to be? You couldn't even pick a professional athlete. You went with a fucking journalist? Grow up, man.
We just want to say thank you to Simply Reliable Studios for voting us as Tag Team of the Year.
Of course.
Because you know what they say, right? If you can't swim, you're bound to drown.
Tonight, she is sponsored by Simply Reliable Studios from Orlando, Florida. She is everybody's favorite BFF, Indi Marino.
Get it? Got it.
Tonight we're in for another action-packed night of non-stop action as TNA Wrestling continues live virtually from Albany, New York, and we continue live at the Sosa Studios with our continued coverage of the TNA Knockouts World Television Championship Tournament. So welcome everybody once again to Sosa Studios, and welcome once again into TNA Thursday Night Impact. Hello everybody, and welcome back here once again to the Sosa Studios. You know what this is, for I am the Superman, the Superbrand, the voice of the for great performing professional wrestling, damn it. And my name is Noah Foster. So thank you all for tuning in with us. And again, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. And if you want to dictate the conversation, super chat or pay for the passions, it's as simple as that. We have two TNA championship matches tonight with the TNA Tag Team Champions on the line as the Broken Hearts defend against the Great Hands on the behest of Mustafa Ali, asking Daria Ray for the opportunity. And we also will see the TNA Knockouts World Championship on the line as Zara Brookside defends once again against Lei Ling Lee in what's sure to be a form of Mortal Kombat, as there will be a no disqualification match. And of course, the TNA Knockouts World Television Championship Tournament will continue forward with two more first-round matches as Jody goes one-on-one with Gabby Forza, and Indi Hartwell goes one-on-one with rising independent star Vicki Venuto. Will have, of course, the King's Speech led by Frank Kazarian with special guest Moose. And we also have a triple threat tag team match as the Righteous and the System take on Risky Sosa and Leon Slater regarding the fall of the events that happened last week. And speaking of fallout, we also will see Casey Navarro in action. And it looks like we're kicking things off here fully loaded to start things off as we have the TNA Tag Team Championships on the line. Could the Great Hands finally seize the titles and become the Great Hands to lead the TNA Tag Division in the future? We will find out soon enough. And it's good to see, of course, Charles Schultz in the chat. Yes, it is I. Once again, it is just I. And of course, stay tuned during the commercial breaks. We, of course, stay chat and relax in the Impact Lounge as TNA gives us 11 commercial breaks, it seems, on TNA Plus. But once again, we are here to be your honest, reliable coverage for TNA Wrestling tonight. And of course, the Great Hands, this will be their second ever chance as the Great Hands for the TNA Tag Team Championships. And of course, you all can follow along with me live if you wish. Become a subscriber today on the TNA Plus app. Just go to TNAWrestling.com. And of course, for $9.99, you remember that magic number from the W Network? Yeah, I do too. You also can, of course, watch along with me right now here live as well. All right, so let's go ahead and see what we happen here tonight. Again, when it comes to the tag team division, the Hardys have pretty much defined this division non-freaking stop, it seems like, which is just beyond ridiculous when it comes to their mainstay in TNA wrestling. Almost makes you wonder, can they actually have a tag division without the Hardys being involved in it? I don't know at this point, but I guess we'll find out. As, of course, they regained these titles once again 2 years in a row at Slammiversary in that wild Fatal 4-Way match. And it looks like my feed's adding up here, so stay tuned, folks, as I have technical difficulties, which is always fun to deal with. And, well, it wouldn't be a night of TNA Plus without them having a technical difficulty on their pissant app. This app has been nothing but a freaking mess, and I stand by what I said here. Let's see here what's going on right now. And, of course, again, I do wonder, Mustafa Ali, can he actually handle the great hands, failing him once again, much like Tasha Steelz, who fell, of course, winning her way forward in the TNA Knockouts Television Championship Tournament. I feel like, honestly, Mustafa Ali might reevaluate his group, wherein Ali they trust, but can Ali actually trust them if they can't bring gold home to the Order for and prove that they are the most dominant faction in TNA wrestling? I'm just saying. But, again, hindsight's 2020. And, of course, the Hardys have already confronted the likes of the Nemeths, the Righteous, pretty much everybody that is in this tag division, with the exception right now of what might be a new tag team on the scene, in Leon Slater and, of course, Ricky Sosa, who we will see in action later this evening. Oh, man. I don't expect the titles to change hands, but this just seems so far out of the game. Unless, like, especially in Zero gets involved and, like, body slams everybody, I just don't see it happening. I know a certain individual that, of course, we all care about here so much about the studios wants to see the great hands succeed, but with quote-unquote highly unlikely or likelihood. Then again, it's been a week of new champions across the other companies, so supposedly I guess it could happen. I guess I shouldn't maybe rule it out, but still, I'm not holding my breath. But regardless, it never hurts to dream. All right, let me make sure here that we got everything in order as I reboot my app again here, folks, and I hope that Charles Schultz, you aren't losing your brain over how much wrestling you watch, trying to become as crazy as the simple man when it comes to watching all things freaking TNA wrestling. At least it sounds like that's what he's doing. I could be wrong, though. And, of course, tag team divisions have led TNA wrestling through many a decades, including the likes of Moisture Machine Guns, Team 3D, Beer Money, LAX, and right into the Great Hands Ice with Jeff Hardy. I finally got my feet in order. Good grief on this service already starting to prove why I hate it. And Jeff Hardy right now getting tired of these great hands trying to double team him, going up to the top rope. But for Whisper went, nope. As the great hands scouted that move from a mile away. Crash and burn up the fireman's carry. Nice Samoan drop. Roll through net breaker into the cover to seize the title. Then Matt Hardy with the save. That would have been probably it right there, honestly. Side effect connects to Jason Hotch. And, of course, Matt Hardy has been dealing with a bad leg here for a number of weeks, ever since the fall with the Righteous and the Righteous Garden. Big stunner there. Twist of fate, possibly, as Jeff Hardy makes the tag into Matt Hardy. I got to be honest here, the Hardys definitely look broken here. They look the worse for wear. And looking for another side effect. Or twist of fate, excuse me. And the tag man as we go back to the Hardys playbook and Jeff Hardy giving the creatures a show and a t-shirt. And Matt Hardy still firm in the left leg, though, as Jeff Hardy goes up to the top ropes, and John Skyler in the drop zone for the Swanton Bomb! In the center, shoots the half back press for the hook, and the Hardys retain! And once again, the great hands end up with nothing in their hands, as the Hardys overcome Jason Hotch and John Skyler. Sorry to a certain individual that probably was holding out for it. Yeah, about to say, Brandon, good to see you in the chat. And yeah, again, when tag team wrestling mattered, players. Oh, it's going to be my player. The guy that made tag team wrestling matter in professional wrestling. Imagine Teddy Long just showing up here out of nowhere, like, wait, hold on. You got another match tonight. You see Tasha Steelz there also at ringside, as now the Tasha Steelz and the Great Hands have gone back-to-back weeks in losing critical championship opportunities. Uh-oh. Here comes Mustafa Ali and Special Agent Zero. You got to imagine the frustration that Mustafa Ali has right now with his family or his faction. Wait a minute. Ali once again making a call here. Who is all they calling? He's been calling someone now for 2 straight weeks. Definitely some discourse in the order 4, but something still remains the same, and that is the Broken Hardys stay on top of the tag team division. As we go backstage with former TNA Knockouts World Champion Ladling Lee with the lovely Gia Miller. She has so much riding on her mind tonight, including regaining the TNA Knockouts World Championship with someone that she once called a friend. Of course, tonight she gets her contractually obligated rematch. Go ahead, Matt's going for a mind. See what you got to say. It was painful. Lost their championship. Lose someone she once called friend. There are no friends in this business, Layling Lee. You learn it the hard way, it seems. More than friendship here tonight. I understand now. But tonight, no excuse. No past. No Angel Warriors. Only a fight. Give everything, her heart, her honor, to win it. Because that title belongs to a real warrior. Tonight, I will take it back. Well, I will say Layling Lee looks 100% focused here. Not one sign of sympathy in her eyes. Looking to seize the crown and jewel of the TNA Knockouts division. Speaking of crowns, here's someone without a crown. Frank Kazarian, as we get ready now for another King's Speech segment. And of course, Kazarian was part of Ultimate X for the first time in over a decade plus, back at Slammiversary, in his pursuit of regaining the TNA X Division Championship, but also was part of the announcement of Amazing Red for the TNA Hall of Fame. But coming up next, the King's Speech comes forward with special guest Moose as we take our first commercial break. Fuck TNA streaming service. And we'll see you on the other side of this commercial break as I bring you in the TNA Lounge. Bloody freaking hell.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, JJ. Welcome to the TNA Lounge, where we deal with 11 commercial breaks and just tell it to piss off as we wait for TNA to return back to our screens. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
It's good. That's good. I watched Jeff Dunham's 250th special, of course. Or not, no. The America special on freaking the YouTube. Apparently it was through iPhones as well, which I thought was actually quite clever, honestly. And he got like 4 million views. That's impressive. Jeff Dunham's still probably the best ventriloquist on the planet, honestly. Still one of the funniest.
100%. Who's your favorite puppet of his?
Oh, damn. I mean, I like Jose Jalapeno on a stick. On a stick. But honestly, I mean, Ahmed or Peanut, I mean, they all make me laugh in a way. And freaking drinking and thinking with Bubba J. Some of this stuff actually makes sense whether you're drunk or sober, which I find even more hilarious.
Okay, so little story here.
Go for it.
My daughter's mom showed me Jeff Dunham way back in the day, and when she first tried to show him to me, I didn't think he was funny at all.
Really?
Okay, but then, you know, being with her, being in his house, she really enjoyed him.
Of course.
He came to the Irvine Improv. Now, this is just before Arguing with Myself dropped. So, like,
Gotcha.
He was on the cusp of superstardom, but he hadn't blown up yet. Like, the DVD had dropped or was about to drop, and, like, the buzz hadn't circulated yet. So he's still doing, like, comedy clubs and improvs as opposed to arenas. So we go, watch the show, and get to meet him afterwards. And seeing it live, I just fell in love with Jeff Dunham and the characters.
Yeah, it was actually
I think it was
show.
something about seeing it on a recording as opposed to seeing it live that just made the translation. It's like a musical artist. It's like, okay, they sound amazing on wax, on record, but how do they sound in concert?
right? It's like
You
you hear a
know?
person live versus a recording. I completely
Exactly.
understood that.
So I think that's what it was for me. So like when I saw him live, became a fan immediately.
I
You
think I
know,
was
but
arguing with myself that I became a fan of Jeff Dunham because that's where I remember that show where he was talking about, oh, Mike, hard to go with all this pressure, isn't it, Mike? Yeah.
The dude, the medical transportation guy that went to the bathroom.
I need medical
On
transportation.
oh nah.
Oh my gosh. Holy crap. I could see Cartman. This is Comedy Central. I could see Kenny. Oh, and he
Oh,
just got
he's
killed.
dead again. See, I was always a fan of Melvin the superhero. I think that was the one that I really got into.
What is the most unique asset that you possess? And he turns his nose and he says, my costume.
Mm-hmm. And then Sweet Daddy D. I am a player in a management position.
Uh-huh.
Pimp.
Wait, you're
that
a
means
pimp?
you the hoe.
Oh my gosh. And then when Jeff said word, he's like, don't you ever do that again.
Right?
Dog, you're not white. You are neon white. Even the white folk are going, what the hell was that? And this TNA Lounge Break was brought to you by fans of Jeff Dunham. We return to TNA Wrestling with Frank Kazarian in the wings. Stay tuned to see what it's talking about next with the Superman and JJ. And welcome back in there, folks, to the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams commercial break. As we got the key speech with Frank Kazarian to bring you back in to TNA Wrestling. Are you not entertained? And we'll see if Kazarian entertains us tonight or makes an embarrassment out of himself. As he brings in Moose, who, of course, I would say is finally free of his past. And not only defeating the system, but breaking it with Alicia Edwards in the process and family assistance. That's what a man's family, all bets are off, as the face of the franchise might be looking once again towards the TNA World Championship. And of course, Moose, a mainstay player here, 5-tool player, literally dedicated himself to professional wrestling, leaving a career in football. Sporting the Knicks colors here tonight, of course, we are in Albany, New York. Arguably was the face of the system, but he was not the creator of it. It's insanity. Oh, Charles, come on, man. If you were to pop out of the mandible, you would be all over the conversation we just had. I'm just saying. Also, I do remember that show of Insanity. Anyway, let's see what sort of insanity ensued between Kazarian and Moose here. Basically revealing some adversity here. Talking about how he beat Eddie Edwards. And having done so, he's now defeated every member of the system, which he has, Kazarian speaking facts. And asking Moose how he feels. Some adversity was the most emotional of his entire life, as he speaks slow as always. You know how much Edwards loves to get people say, yeah, I mean, Kazarian and Eddie Edwards once feuded over who was the better student of Killer Kowalski. Both, of course, trained by Killer Kowalski. Beat champions, won championships. Made the pay-per-views. Done everything that there is to name. But he did one thing never his whole entire life. Shared a moment in this ring with his beautiful wife and his courageous son. Yeah. And he'll cherish them up for the rest of his life. Nothing more valuable than family. Kazarian trying to make this about Moose being the enemy. You traumatize your family. And Moose going to cut off Kazarian. Wife doing great. Son's doing better. Yeah, all everyone know what's next for Moose. As do I. What's next, Moose? Moose. Same thing he's been doing ever since Step Foot. That's dominating. Moose chases nobody. So if anybody wants some, they can come get some. Because there's only one face of the franchise. Frankie, you're looking at him. I mean, Moose has earned that title, to be fair. Kazarian also acknowledging that Moose has held it down here for a solid decade here in TNA, which is accurate. Kazarian, once in a while, you do speak the truth. I'll give you that. Kazarian saying that Moose casually is in the conversation as a face of TNA. Not in the conversation. Damn right you are, Moose. You are the conversation. Kazarian taking the glasses off indoors. Kazarian about to ask Moose a question. Kazarian asking Moose, are you stupid? Have you looked in the mirror, Kazarian? Kazarian saying you must be stupid when you're staring at the king. Yeah, court jester is more like it. Been wondering the whole time. Who the hell crowned you king? Thank you, Moose! Thank you! The reason why Moose calls himself the face of the franchise. He's been in for 10 years. He's seen people show up and see people go. And see people make a name for themselves and then leave to go cash a check somewhere else. Damn. And then leave to go chase stardom. It's Moose has made TNA his own personal playground and made TNA home. Preach! Call himself the face of the damn place. Yeah, where were you, Kazarian? Just saying. Kazarian saying, appreciate that passion. Kazarian about to do the same. Says, my name's Frank Kazarian. Okay, I don't know why I say bitch in front of Moose. The last TNA original standing. Pioneer of the X Division. Grand Slam champion. That's even a feat that not even Moose has achieved. Well, he's right there. Put this company from the ground up. So men like you. And that's not enough of a damn king. Moose kind of the most annoying person in that locker room. But he does respect him. He considers him one of the pillars of TNA. He knows deep down in his heart that Moose is one of the pillars. But I've been thinking, I've been in this company for so long. We've never had a singles match. That's true, because there has never faced Moose. How about we give all these people of Albany a dream match? Honestly, I'm for it. First time ever, Frank Kazarian versus Moose. I like it. TNA is all about those golden opportunities. And Kazarian says, I have no interest in that. Of course you don't, coward. Talking to a gentleman a few minutes ago. Kazarian apparently saying that he talked to somebody that called Moose an idiot like him, which took him for good. And basically saying your NFL career is almost as ugly as the women here in Albany. And I'm officially about to leave the feed and go nope, because here comes Flapdower, wasting even more airtime and killing the ratings. As if it wasn't enough, I have one ass clown in the ring. Here comes ass clown first class. And apparently we got some football talk here. Really? Flop dollar? You think he would be scared in the NFL? You'd be lucky to concuss your bald ass. Yeah. Yeah, let's just fight somebody. Why not? Punch him in their sunglasses. And since Kazarian's a little bitch, and you're big, and you seem to have bigger balls than him, how about we go one-on-one? Flop dollar versus Moose. Yeah, I'm for it. Okay, who invited you, Timu Slick? Okay, punch the man in the neck brace. I don't care if he's freaking handicapped. The handicap can be serviced by AARP, Moose, please. Apparently, Timu Slick accepted. But not tonight. Go figure. Apparently next week. And Kazarian basically saying, you heard it here, right. Well, I deal with two ass clowns and one face the franchise and wasted 5 minutes of my life. That being said, apparently Flop Dollar is going one-on-one with Moose, and I hope that he literally spurs him back to the NFL, where the only thing he's worth is Cheez-Its. Regardless, Kazarian showing how much of a coward he is, but still instigating the conversation. We have a match made for next week, as now we walk with Elijah backstage. To TNA. Which I love entertaining all these matches with his smoking gun guitar. There's one goal in mind, and that is the TNA World Championship. Elijah for TNA World Champion? Because in TNA, we walk this way. They're here every week. All the time. It's walk this way. Walk with Elijah. They were going somewhere. About to say, where are we walking to? The gas station? Albuquerque? Take everyone with him to the TNA World Championship. For years, carry the brands of everybody who's walked with me. And for those that spent the time in the desert, we're to show you we're heading to the promised land. Who the hell you think you are, Moses? Well, a man on a mission. Elijah looks to take us all along this walk all the way now to the TNA World Championship. Big goal for Elijah. Big goal probably for Moose, as Moose has to deal with Flop Dollar. But coming up soon here tonight, we have a triple threat tag match. The Righteous in the System take on Ricky Sosa and Leon Slater. And also still to come tonight, TNA Knockouts World Championship on the line as Zaya Brookside goes one-on-one once again with Lei Ling Lee under no disqualification. And of course, the continuation of why we're doing TNA Impact on a weekly basis for the time being is for the TNA Knockouts World Television Championship Tournament as Jody goes one-on-one with Gabby Forza in a one-on-one round one match to come. But coming up next, we're going to see who's more impressive or who's more vicious, as two other women look to punch their way forward in this tournament. Indi Hartwell goes one-on-one with vicious Vicki Venuto after this commercial break on TNA Impact. Fuck the streaming service.
Okay, before we go to the TNA Lounge gimmick, because we did actually get a decent question in the chat room from a follower of ours.
Okay.
And I figure it could be a good little conversation piece for this break.
All right, I'll acknowledge it. Go for it.
Our buddy Dev, part of the Russell Collective.
Oh, hey, Dev.
First of all, said, stay elegant today. And Dev, that's a good way to trigger Noah because he's not a fan of the Elegance brand. But then he goes on to say, predictions for the Knockouts Division TV tournament.
Oh, that's a fair shout. Well,
granted, we're covering the tournament in its entirety. We already know a couple of people have been eliminated, but out of the remaining field, what do we see? Let's not try to predict the winner, but who do we see advancing at least to like the semifinals here?
I gotta put Elena Black high up there in that conversation. Not only was she the one that got the win in the match prior to the announcement by, of course, Tracy Brooks, but she's had her eyes set on gold since coming to TNA. And since Lei Ling Lee no longer is part of that conversation as of right now, necessarily I don't think she's focused on a heel dynamic or a shield dynamic. And literally, I think she's also going to carve her own legacy. Again, this is the first. There only can be one first. I got to put Elena Black up at the top of that conversation to advance in this tournament, at least to the semifinals, if no less than that. So she's definitely tier one pick. The other side of that, I got to go with Indi. I think Indi has already had her chance at the TNA Knockouts World Championship, and I also think that she really wants to become the knockout, to be the conversation as the first TNA Knockouts television champion and to be a mainstay weekly player to represent TNA. Plus, she just recently signed. I got to look at Elena Black and Indi Hartwell as two people to definitely put forward at that conversation more than others. So those are my two right now. And ironically enough, they literally could be one half of this bracket as we're both still alive. They're on the same side.
I was going to say that would easily be the semifinals of that side of the bracket. So then who do you got on the other side of things?
Well, considering that,
I gotta say, straight out the gate, I completely agree with you on that side of the bracket.
Oh, thank you.
I told you this when we first started out on this. I do want to see one of the independent wrestling standouts, either Vicki Venuto or Gabby Forza, move it to the quarters. And I want to see one of the WWE NXT / Evolve talents, either Thea Hale or Wendy Chu, move into the quarterfinals. I just think that would be a nice little, field, because then you've got 6 TNA personas, 1 independent wrestling standout, 1 WWE standout. I think it does a great thing for the partnerships, for introducing new talents, even though the NXT Evolve / independent probably isn't going to move into the semis out of the quarters. Just for them to qualify, I think is a big deal. So right out of the gate there, I've got Thea Hale on that side of the bracket advancing, and I've got Gabby Forza for my independent standout, especially with her relationship to a member of the system. I think that definitely plays in her favor. They know it'll be very easy for her to make the tapings in Philly. Bear's going to be there anyways, so her showing up isn't, an insane request. But as far as the semis on that side, I definitely think Indi would eventually go over Thea. I think Elena's going to go over whether it's M or Rosemary.
It's Rosemary.
I think that's going to be an easy one there. Yeah. On the other side of things, and the reason I really want Gabby to qualify is I want to see Alicia Edwards go over Jada Stone, because I think that would be intriguing because both women there are system tied.
Yeah,
with Alicia Edwards being the wife of Eddie and Gabby being the wife of Bear.
Yeah, I definitely see Alicia cheating her way at least out of the preliminaries into the quarterfinals. I actually had Alicia versus Jody, though, because, again, Jody's more of the mainstay name, as I understand your point. But out of the right-hand side, overall, I think it's going to be
Mara and Alicia.
I really think it's going to be that. You and I are on the same wavelength as far as the right-hand side. It's either going to be Mara Sade, Alicia, Indi Hartwell, or Elena Black for me as one of the 4 people to be the inaugural TNA Knockouts World Television Champion. If we go down to Kenzie Mitchell's, we are actually back, but continue.
Now, let me ask you this point, though. With those 4 names being our semis, and you being a man who is vehemently bitched and moaned and complained about how TNA is turning into too much of a similarity and not a standout anymore, are you okay with 3 out of the 4 semifinalists being transplants from WWE? And Alicia being the only true homegrown TNA talent in that semifinal?
In a way, I am, because at the end of the day, WWE didn't do much with them, and they don't work for WWE anymore, and it's not like they're going to go to WWE with it. They are literally making TNA their home. They're building their own identity in TNA and their own legacy in TNA. It's one thing for NXT to seize gold in TNA, have it on their show, and do Jack Dooley with it. It's another thing for a talent, what TNA has always been, to redefine themselves, especially a woman in this business, to become more than just a superstar, a knockout in their own identity, and actually carve their own legacy. And this literally does that for anybody here, as this will be the first. And Indi Hartwell has always been a mainstay name that I want to see fans go forward her way. And I really have been impressed with her as the heart hasn't quit since she left the Fed due to being released, and has carved her own path in Australia, New York, and now in TNA Impact, which is why I'm hopeful that Indi Hartwell goes over. I was actually hoping that Indi Hartwell was going to beat Kalani Jordan back at Bound for Glory in front of half the audience and bring the damn Knockout World Championship back home.
Fair enough. So there you go, Dev. I hope you enjoyed our little breakdown here as we get back to the action. Take it away, Noah.
Thank you very much, JJ, and thank you, shout out to Dev. Follow him, folks. Appreciate you, brother. And again, thank you for actually giving a worthwhile conversation over a nonsensical commercial break. And that was very impressive. As, of course, we look to see if Indi Hartwell will be leaving a lasting impression, making history as the first ever TNA Knockouts World Television Champion. Mutual handshake here. For those that don't know, by the way, Vicki Venuto, this is not the first time she's faced Indi Hartwell one-on-one. In fact, Indi Hartwell previously beat her for the ACW Women's Championship that she held, the Awesome Championship Wrestling Championship. Cover 2, count only, 2025. Last time these two shared a ring together was opposite sides of a tag team match. Vicki Venuto and Lady Frost got the better of Indi Hartwell and stepped to land her that night in ACW. And of course, there are no friends in this tournament. As of course, you lose this tournament, you are out, period. As, of course, we saw last week, Ali and Tasha Steelz, which really surprised me, former TNA Knockouts World Champion, were eliminated. And, of course, growing up not only as a fan of professional wrestling, but also, of course, as a fan of course, TNA Impact and the TNA Knockouts division that has been such a cornerstone, a legacy of its own self-individuality for women in wrestling. Cover hook on the far leg, side press, gets a 2 count, so very faint Costo. Going all the way back to 2008 with the likes of Gail Kim, Awesome Khan, Taylor Wilde, Sarita, class 1 of the Knockouts. Not even all of them that held even gold or had the Knockouts Championship, but still owned their own legacy. Daphne, God rest her soul. And, of course, you see the non-stop schedule below on your screens. We'll be back here, of course, covering after this tournament on the premium level, Lethal Lockdown, Bound for Glory, and, of course, the return of Destination X in November. All that and so much more on TNA's non-stop schedule. Covered now by Vicki. It's a 2 count. And Hartwell's keeping her hopes alive here. Again, think about, what this would mean for Indi Hartwell to have this be her first title and her first pedigree of her legacy as a TNA knockout, where when she signed, she wanted to be the knockout. Covered by Vicki again. Quick 1 count there. Quick kick out by Indi Hartwell. We're going to show exactly if the heart won't quit. Vicki Venuto, by the way, folks, is a freelancer on the independent scene. Been involved in this business for over 8 years and was trained by Pat Buck out of a Creative Pro Wrestling Academy. Previously, of course, multiple-time champion, ISPW Women's Champion. And, of course, Indi Hartwell, no stranger to gold, as, of course, she was a former NXT Women's Tag Team Champion. And Snap Mayer, previous challenger, of course, the TNA Knockouts World Championship. Thrust kick covered by Vicki. Gets a 2 count this time on Indi. And I don't think that Indi Hartwell, after losing in front of her family against Kalani Jordan, somebody that she was very influential in, of course, guiding in her legacy, starting in professional wrestling, still growing, of course, in NXT. And we'll see Kalani Jordan in a triple threat and one contenders match next week on NXT TV, for those that watch that. Hard average whip in the corner. Trying to take her shot here tonight. Hook on the far leg. Gets a 2 count on Indi Hartwell. Of course, Indi Hartwell, again, considering the feuds that she's already been involved with here in TNA, not only against the likes of Atlanta Black, of course, was part of that triple threat, losing in some adversity after Atlanta Black took advantage of her work. Running drop kick, covered by Vicki with the far leg. Gets a 2 count again. And Hartwell still staying alive. As again, this is a single elimination tournament. You lose and you're out. And as you, of course, saw on the bracket, Indi Hartwell will, of course, be waiting for somebody else that will be coming forward here as we continue covering TNA Impact on a weekly basis in the full coverage of this tournament. Able to escape out of the corner. Schoolgirl roll up by Indi Hartwell. Gets a 2 count on Vicki. Deep roll up there. Gets to the midsection, though, and Vicki again stay on the attack. Irish whip. Wow, God, wiped out with a running lariat. Indi Hartwell trying to mount a comeback here, trying to find some offense. Planted with a spine buster cover 2, and that almost was an impressive win for Indi Hartwell to advance. Woo! Indi Hartwell right now sensing a little bit of concern on her face. Might be looking for a Hertz donut passed down to her by Johnny Gargano. Full Nelson in play, but Vicki still fighting back, though. Indi still maintaining hold and control. Pushed into the corner, though. And Vicki, of course, has teamed with Hartwell before. These two previously took on the Diamond Collection, of course, as a Blanchard and Company. Oh, wow! Out of nowhere with the cutter, Vicki into the cover now, hooking the far leg to advance, gets a 2 count on Indi again. Slow to follow up with that cutter out of nowhere, and that moment might have been the difference there between Indi and Hartwell being eliminated. Now, Vicious Vicki here, trying to hook Indi Hartwell, though, victory row, hook a ball flanks, and nearly caught Vicki there. Great counter wrestling, once again got her hooked. Hooks donuts! Face first goes Vicki, shoots the hat, back press with the far leg, and Indi Hartwell advances. Impressive. Indi Hartwell so far keeping her hopes alive to define history here in TNA as the knockout to first possess the TNA Knockouts World Television Championship that will be only defended on TNA Impact TV. As again, the Hertz Donut, that freaking full Nelson into the face buster, and that was all she wrote for Vicki Venuto. Able to put down Vicious Vicki tonight in fine fashion. Indi Hartwell, of course, will have her eyes set very closely on this tournament, and I imagine you can see by the updated bracket, we'll be looking forward to see if Elena Black particularly makes her way out of the preliminaries and may meet her in the semifinals. Indi Hartwell will face either Harley Hudson or Fia Hill in her quarterfinals match, as now we have 3 women officially eliminated. Who else will join the fray here tonight and beyond in the pursuit of becoming the first knockout to hold the TNA Knockouts Championship, as we look toward the injury report presented to you by the Super Reliable Studios? As, of course, the personal concierge, he is still on indefinite because he was blinded by poison mist. Ain't that a shame? Look, Ray Charles and Steve Wonder, they did fine as blind people. I'm sure he'll be fine. Pee Wee Herman and Paul Rubens not rolling in his grave. Layling Lee, by the way, after that brutal assault to her leg, has also been cleared, but that hamstring might also affect her later tonight when she takes on Zaya Brookside, of course, for the TNA Knockouts Championship. And Allie, who also right now is currently out after a stinging whiplash effect, as Allie right now is being checked by medical staff. And of course, Allie, no stranger to concussive protocol. And that is your injury report courtesy of the Super Reliable Studios as TNA Impact continues. Good stuff, though, for Indi Hartwell. I'm happy that she won. Again, I really hope that she goes the distance here and is at least part of the semifinals. And that is your injury report in TNA Knockouts World Television Championship Tournament update, courtesy of the Survival Studios. As we take another commercial break, and we will see you on the other side of this commercial, but TNA streaming services. Ugh.
So, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, let's see here. Indi Hartwell advanced the bunny. I hope that she's okay. Not the first time she was out on a concussive protocol, as we saw the hard whiplash to her head and neck. So I hope that she's okay. And overall, I mean, again, you're hopeful that independent talent does move forward, JJ, but it wasn't Vicious Vicki's night. So Gabby Forza might be your last chance.
She's definitely the last chance. I think you just want Allie to do the bunny hop all the way to Toledo, Ohio.
Well, you stop that! You son of a bitch, even off camera! Find a way to instigate me and the bunny. You leave the bunny out of this. She's already eliminated, damn it! Freaking non-existent champion for a non-existent tag team division. Why you gotta raise my ire every fucking time? Why? Damn it! And freaking people probably just laughing at Storm. And I know Charles is just freaking laughing like the court jester Jake Lee. Speaking of which, shout out to those that tuned in to our baddie bracket breakdown. As it looks like Brandon, a longtime supporter of the Superman's brand, the Superman Studios. This is for you, JJ. How far do you think Fia Hill will go in this tournament? Considering if she gets out of her preliminary, she's got Indi Hartwell waiting for her in the quarterfinals.
I don't think she'll go past the quarterfinals. You know, I just want her to qualify. That's it. Indi Hartwell is facing Elena Black in the semis on that side. I think that's pretty much written in stone.
Mm-hmm.
The other side is way much more up in the air. You know, Mara Sade, I feel, is a lock for that semifinals. Off the cuff, Alicia Edwards should be a lock with the system and everything, but
You mean you think the system works?
No,
How to say?
the system cheats. The system is rigged. And I think that's exactly how Alicia Edwards is going to possibly make it.
The system is rigged. That's such a political philanthropy.
Stop me when I'm telling lies.
No lies detected. I'm just saying for those that don't know.
But
oh man.
Yeah, I don't think Thea's going past the quarters if she even gets out of the qualifying round. And you know, come hell or high water, bruv, I'm gonna find a way to be on camera during that match, whatever week that happens.
You better be, damn it, freaking Chase U alumni. That's your freaking valedictorian there. That's your golden girl. You've been waiting for her to achieve a damn championship moment, let alone get a chance at a championship. You better be.
Well, she has had a championship moment prior. She is a former NXT Women's North American Champion.
I'm aware of that.
Regardless of the circumstances surrounding it, her name is in the history books.
The history is history. We don't talk about it, all right? I heard you with the Tilla. I saw your patching. Tranquilo. I remember.
So, you know, I mean, it would be nice for her to get a championship outside of WWE. But I'm not trying to raise your ire either. If the inaugural Knockouts television champion is somebody from NXT or Evolve, I will not hear the end of it from you. Even if it is somebody deserving, like a Wendy Chu or a Thea Hale, because you cannot argue me that those women are not deserving of being bigger champions than they have been.
And the bottom line, though, if you represent TNA TV, you should only be the focal point in TNA Wrestling to represent TNA TV. If it's a TV title, it should be an in-house talent. Damn it.
And I agree with you on that.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Look,
you're not gonna get argument from me on that.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not trying to argue with anybody. I'm just being straight up honest here. If we're going to do something in TNA, then do it in TNA. Or damn it, do it in TNA. Easy for me to say. Damn tongue twister when you put the D's together. Double D. D&D. Dungeons & Dragons. Never played it. Heard that game was stupid.
Yeah, I never played Dungeons & Dragons either.
I never, really got into that. But, c'est la vie. Speaking of which, Vici, I will say this as we return to TNA Impact with a video package. For one, Fabian Eichner. Thank you, JJ, by the way. And welcome back, folks, from the Impact Lounge as we continue here at TNA Wrestling, as we learn a little bit of one Fabian Eichner's backstory. Of course, the new #1 contender now to the TNA X Division Championship after winning a 6-way scramble. Who would have thought that we would see Fabian Eichner across the line and possibly reset himself as not only a contender, but maybe a future X Division champion? Things that happen at the right time, the right moment. Fabian Eichner is someone that didn't stay down just because other people said so. It certainly seemed like you did stay down for a moment, though, bro. I'm just saying. Talking about what it would mean to him to win the X Division title. Of course, the title that is defined by No Limits has been a mainstay of TNA Wrestling since the inception of this company. That's what it is. People like Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, Super Dragon. Tell me that. What makes sense on her Fred is that some adversity, he's an opportunist. Yeah, you saw that firsthand in your first Ultimate X match. We haven't had a chance to go one-on-one, but we'll see who the better man is now. Of course, when I'm in the ring, I step in with a different mentality. And with that approach, I will get my respect. I will get my redemption. I will get what I worked for. And I will learn and show everybody that Fabian Eichner is numero uno. Again, I'll be looking at future X Division champion. Dig what I'm saying, man? Speaking of which, boy, it's about to get weird. I don't know necessarily what the righteous are trying to put down, but I do know this. What they did last week in trying to hone in on the potential of one Ricky Sosa has led to a whole different landscape of chaos and derangement when it comes to the system and the righteous, who's been butting heads with each other since Slammiversary, where we saw that tainted flower almost kill Brian Myers. And of course, Bear Bronson and Dutch went through a damn 4 tables off the top of a ladder from the Righteous Garden. The Righteous have carved their own path here in TNA. And of course, here has been the mainstay of TNA with their new fame by Downstate, the system. And straight up, folks, this is just a grudge match. The fact that Ricky Sosa and Leon Slater have been assaulted by the system, the Righteous reached out to see if Ricky Sosa could be part of their group and hone in on his unlimited potential. And then, of course, we saw him say to the Righteous, no. And then the Edwards, of course, says, what you need is to join the system, because when the system works, no one can beat it. And, of course, he told the system, hell no, which was the right thing to do, even though he was attacked 4-on-1. And, of course, after last week's main event with Sid Alexander's hit and run distraction, Leon Slater caught off guard, pinned and stolen by Eddie Edwards, and, of course, was beaten down almost by Eddie Edwards in the system, before Ricky Sosa came to Leon Slater's aid, which brought us to this unique triple threat dance tonight, where the Righteous and the system continue to collide, and now there might be a new tag team on the scene, aligning against 2 common anomalies, one being a prime enemy. I will say Ricky Sosa, though, has a banging tune, even though I don't understand French rap at all. And, of course, we've seen Ricky Sosa get the biggest win in his young TNA career at the expense of Eric Young at TNA Slammiversary. See that more fans are actually getting into it, too. Seeing this man handle the likes of Andrade El Idolo, of course, during his time at Independence, and Charles Mason, of course, in House of Glory, before signing to TNA Wrestling, endorsed by the likes of the Art of Finesse himself, Chris Bay. And shout out to again, everybody in the chat. Hope you all enjoyed. Again, please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. We do this for the biggest shows, biggest pay-per-views, and kind of out of nowhere, these surprise special tournaments too across all things professional wrestling. As the youngest in charge has landed down in TNA once again, Leon Slater, who was on the cusp of being the longest reigning X Division champion in a single run. The amount of potential in this tag team, though. Leon Slater, Ricky Sosa for tag team champions. Okay, I wouldn't mind seeing that maybe change the TNA tag team landscape. And, of course, Leon Slater said he's hell-bent on not only getting revenge against the system, but also regaining the SVG championship, and more importantly, becoming the face of TNA, beating former TNA world champions. And we saw how close he was last week to beating Eddie Edwards before Sid Alexander got involved. And Leon Slater's been feuding with the system for the better part of this year. Of course, there's no fear to the young OG, the young Savage. And of course, there might be no limits to the potential what Leon Slater, Ricky Sosa could do and become here in TNA Wrestling. Nice to see Emmanuel in the chat. And Brando, I definitely echo the same sentiments. That would be so darn cool. But then again, they need a roster, and they also probably need the funding. I refer this con is, of course, senior official Dale Spencer. Only 2 teams can be legal in this match at the same time, by the way, folks. Despite the fact triple threat tag team, this is one of those matches where we got more than 2 teams. Anyone can tag out to anybody at any time, and only 2 teams are legal at once. Pinfall or submission inside the ring will determine the winner. The reigns are underway. And obviously, all 3 of these teams are looking for their namesake in gold conversation. Maybe even Leon Slater and Ricky Sosa for the TNA Tag Team Championships. That the Hardys did retain successfully the other night against the Great Hands. And then drop down right now, Leon Slater with the kick going up against Brian Myers. Of course, Brian Myers and Bear Bronson are the former TNA Tag Team Champions. And it was the Righteous's doing and how that happened. Now Leon Slater attacking Vincent and Dutch. Can't say I don't blame him. Near 300-plus pound. We've seen how dangerous and agile that Dutch is. Could be literally the definition of no limits if we ever going to go after the X Division. And now Sosa and Slater with a double super kick. Dutch still on his feet, though. And again, both men trying to take down the big man up. And not quite, but finally take it down. Pop-up, drop kick takes Bear Bronson down. And so far, Leon Slater and Ricky Sosa have cleared the ring and taken control of this match. Standing tall, who would have thought about that? Especially considering these two have never worked together or faced each other. And right now, it looks like Ricky Sosa, light him up! Sosa and Slater fly over the top, wiping them out on opposite sides. This triple threat tag team exhibition and maybe experiment continues here, hot and furious, as TNA Wrestling continues. And right now, Dutch being brought back inside the ring. Electric atmosphere here right now that Leon Slater and Ricky Sosa introducing. Drop kick! Beautiful drop kick by Ricky Sosa. Now the cover on Vincent, barely gets a 1 count. Of course, Righteous came into TNA Wrestling earlier this year as well, and mostly have been only trying to bring out what they believe is the best in the Hardys. Hard to argue the fact that they brought them back to be broken, and once again, the Hardys now have the TNA Tag Team Championships. Double stomp to the left arm by Leon Slater. I don't consider Leon Slater, though, a technician. And of course, decision can be rendered here at any point right now. And the system, calculated as always, could pick their spot at any time to interject themselves in this match. And Slater right now tees off against Vincent in their corner. Smart move keeping Vincent away. I would think you want to work more against the Righteous than the system in this matchup. Irish Wit right now. Ricky Sosa legal for his team. And Vincent still legal for the Righteous. Running in with the lariat. Ricky Sosa again. Only one marquee singles win underneath his short TNA career. Snapmare. Followed drop kick to the back of the head and shoulder blades. Now goes for the cover. Far leg hook. Gets a 1 count on Vincent. The maniacal freaking prophet of the Righteous is definitely Vincent Marcellia, former member, of course, of Matt Taven's Kingdom with TK Orion, of course. And Leon Slater, the fact that he turns 22 later this year is crazy. Pulled up out of the arms and, oh! Nice combination of offense there to the power slam. And Slater legal into the cover. Gets a 2 count on Vincent. Great teamwork here so far. We've seen many a times when a team for the first time just finds a unique cohesion. Innovative offense, an invention on the fly, and it's paid dividends here. Now, Brian Myers trying to play interference or intervention, and again, the referee distracted. And Ricky Sosa needs to be aware, not helping his partner there as the uprights were split thanks to Dutch. Running in with a short-range DDT, spiking Leon Slater up and over, and Vincent immediately on the attack. And that's the danger of this three-way, particularly for the unexperienced Leon Slater and Ricky Sosa in this environment. Now the Righteous regaining control here, pushing Leon Slater in their corner, and Vincent teeing up. Leon Slater still trying to fight back against the world. Tag made now to Dutch. And if thinking about, of course, bringing the best out of everybody here, wanting control of this company is what the Righteous MO has to be regarding the freaking macabre of web of foolish lies and tales that they've told at the expense of the Hardys. Nice combination there into the splash. Gets a 2 count there on Leon Slater. A man that talks in riddles, that lives for his own madness, and believes that it flourishes greatness. That is the definition of Vincent, Dutch, and the Righteous. Now Sosa taking down, and Dutch, though, taking advantage on the referee's back, raking the eyes, and Vincent and Dutch going to town against the former X-Division champion. A tag made. About to say, the Righteous so far have controlled most of this match. Bear Bronson has not been legal at all in this match. I've been waiting to see Bear Bronson get his hands on Dutch. Those two need to go one-on-one. Definition of big, meaty men here. And of course, Bear Bronson's first championship accolade here in TNA was alongside Brian Myers as part of the system as a TNA Tag Team Champion. Brian Myers, of course, now a 4-time TNA Tag Team Champion. Slater trying to fight back to his feet, though, to escape the clutches of Dutch, and Dutch still with the headlock, and Slater attacking the midsection as this match continues, folks. Stay tuned here again. TNA plus the service sucks, but hey, the action is still as passionate as ever. We'll see you on the other side of this, I hope, short-range commercial break, but again, if JJ lost count, this is what I was talking about, JJ. Fuck the streaming service. Bloody friggin' hell, even during an exhibition, they can't help but find a way to piss me off to the point that you can't even do picture-in-picture. It's your own damn service, for Pete's sake. I don't need a merch stand for TNA merch. What I need to see is more wrestling. And welcome back here to TNA Wrestling, as that was such a dumb intermission right now. As we are back here again in this triple threat exhibition match. Case in point, the definition of stupid, quote unquote, Randy Orton. What's not stupid right now is the blind tab made by Bronson, as the system has not really been involved at all legally in this match until now. And Bronson now legal with Dutch, as Bear made the blind tag. Dutch and Bear forehead to forehead here, and Vincent and Brian Myers trying to help cooler heads prevail here, trying to once again regain control of this match, as Bronson and Brian Myers need to focus on the task at hand. Oh! And clearly they're not done yet, and Leon Slater trying to slip out from underneath. And again, smart move by Bronson, picking the leg, whip it into Gurry, whip for the rebound, missed again, rolled through, Bronson, clutching Leon Slater, played it with a bummer bomb! Cover! Two! Almost got him. Hoisting him as high as possible to sit out power bomb. Still coming out, of course. Jody Fret goes one-on-one with Gabby Forza in the first round of the TNA Knockouts television tournament. And Zaya Brookside will be defending her TNA Knockouts World Championship against Lei Ling Lee in no disqualification. Also, Casey Navarro, after the fallout of betrayal, taken in a dangerous zone by Nick Nemeth last week after being the lesser Nemeth, he also will be involved in action here tonight. Still that and so much more tonight on TNA Thursday Night Impact. And right now, Leon Slater just trying to find a way out of the grip of Brian Myers, of course, one half formerly of the Major Players, alongside Matt Cardona, a.k.a. Zack Ryder. And Brian Myers right now might be looking for his opportunity. 3-point stance with the right. Oh, I ran right into that leg lariat. Great move by Leon Slater. Critical moment here in this match to make the tag to Ricky Sosa. He has literally wiped Brian Myers' clock. Brian Myers almost tagging out to the right to Tammy Bear Bronson. Tag made to Ricky Sosa. Big pump kick, forward forearm. Pump kick again, and right now Ricky Sosa taking on the world, wiping out the Righteous and Brian Myers. Rolling kick, turning Bear Bronson around. Bear Bronson still legal. The power of Sosa with that hoisted Uranagi. And such a well-rounded individual. Springing high up the second row with a picture-perfect moonsault. Cover to win this match, and Vincent with the running senton for the save. Again, only two teams can be legal at the same time, but the Righteous knows that if they're not involved in the decision, they can't dictate the result. And Brian Myers taking Dutch out play. Bear Bronson wiping out Vincent, and the system now trying to isolate Ricky Sosa here, and have done so. Brian Myers and Bear Bronson with the play, hoisting up on the shoulder. And Leon Slater, whoa, saving his partner, swinging a miss. Runs it with the forearm, wiping out Brian Myers. Another leg lariat takes out Bear Bronson. Almost loses his footing, though, on Vincent, up and around. Vincent inside Russian leg sweep. Look out, the spear in the corner! And Dutch, what? God, boss man slam! Black hole slam, shades of the monster abyss. TNA Hall of Famer. And once again, we're down to the monoliths, the monsters, Bear Bronson and Dutch. And we saw a preview of this at Slammiversary. Their invisible force means their mobile object. I've been waiting for these two to block horns. Or throw fists, that works too. Both these two men took a ride straight from heaven through hell, through 4 damn tables off the top of a ladder that took them both out of the TNA Tag Team Championship equation at Slammiversary in that ladder match. And Bear might begin to bear this exchange. Oh, wow, what a right by Dutch. Low bridge sends Dutch to the outside. And Dutch right now in position. Bear Bronson up and over on the apron. They're going to fall through with the running shoulder block. 300-pounder, quick as a cat, it seems, on his feet. And Dutch and Bear still found the outside. But now, wait a minute. Don't turn your attention away from the far side of your screen. Slater clears the post. Are you freaking kidding me? The young is in charge for a reason. Taking charge of this freaking equation. And Ricky Sosa right now squaring up Bear Bronson, who is legal for the system. Runs through the winning uppercut. Cover 2. Ricky Sosa and Leon Slater wins. In In their first ever outing as a tag team, Ricky Sosa just pinned one half of the former TNA Tag Team Champions. Definitely making a name for himself tonight as Leon Slater looks to put his name in the equation towards not only the X-Division Championship, but maybe even his own Grand Slam opportunities. What a win. Take a look at the replay here as Leon Slater clears the ring post with ease, up and over, wiping out Dutch to the outside. And then this crazy running corkscrew uppercut, full throttle, Bear Bronson wiped out by Ricky Sosa. Bang, bang. A huge win for Ricky Sosa tonight, and a great way to bounce forward for Leon Slater with still X Division and TNA World Championship ambitions after tonight. The future of TNA is very bright with these two at the forefront. Wow. I'm going to make that my alarm. I like this theme a lot. I got to look at the actual band of this. Good job. Congrats to Ricky Sosa and Leon Slater, but something tells me the righteous and the system are still far from done. Freaking Santino Morella, what are you doing? But I say, guys, mustache.
That son of a gun.
Yeah, we all love that son of a gun, but Daria Ray, questionable. It's not boom, boom, Santino. It's bang, bang. Oh, what the lesser Nemeth want? Oh, boy. And then it's Big Brother. This guy feels like he needs to go for a nasal chamber. I think he's got a rough week. What's the big deal? Daria giving free range for Ryan Nemeth. Oh, it's really, Daria? That's the excuse you're going to do? Some people like to defend their families versus facing them. Well, anyway. Santino, you continue doing your boom boom, I guess. Brother. Well, Case Navarro is probably going to have a lot on his mind to say towards the lesser Nemeth and the TNA World Champion, Nick Nemeth, still coming tonight on TNA Impact. And, of course, our main event for the TNA Knockouts World Championship still to come forward is, again, Sarah Brookside, the Dark Angel of the Ring, looks to excommunicate Layling Lee for the championship picture in her past once and for all. But next, get ready for a fret as Gabby Sosa goes one-on-one with Jody Fret. As action, the TNA Knockouts World Television Championship Tournament continues here when TNA Impact returns to this commercial break. Jody Fret, Gabby Forza, who punched their ticket one step closer? We'll find out here soon enough when TNA returns from the other side of this. Freaking boom, boom. Freaking, what the hell? Generic Canadian Rambo? Really, Santino? Bloody hell.
Bang, bang.
Sosa. I like the theme. I like it. It's a good bop. Oh, anyway. Wow, JJ, what a win, though, for them in their first outing as a tag team, pinning one half of literally the former tag team champions. Maybe Ricky Sosa and Leon Slater might want to consider themselves part of that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like they're trying to convince Leon to stick around. You know, a lot of people have been speculating his contract expires end of the year.
Or as I want him to stick around.
You know, is he going to hang around in TNA? Is he going to become All Elite? Is he going to go to WWE, hook back up with Javon Evans? You know, the two of them had a good tag team run there. A lot of speculation with Leon, but a win like this, which, while it definitely looks good for Leon, is more so to help get Ricky over, I think is a good way to try to convince him to stick around a little bit, showing he's going to keep getting pushed. So,
the way I see it, though, TNA cannot afford to lose more incredible, young, bright, future talent in what has really become almost a shadow box of a freaking roster. Let's just call it what it is. And when AEW and freaking WWE have worse inflation than the U.S. economy, they don't need any more time besides what freaking WWE creates from scratch, from freaking nil or freaking non-wrestling athletes. And AEW needs to focus on their insane crop of talent, which they are starting to. TNA needs to build themselves from within, not from outside or from former, and from legacy especially. And Leon Slater is the definition of that. He defined the X Division. Now let's see if he can define the World Championship. Because Nick Nemeth, for what it's worth, yes, congrats, he's still here. We don't need him as the face of TNA. You need to try and build somebody new. And I think Leon Slater should be put closer to that equation, especially with Designated X on the horizon.
Well, what do you think about this comment from your friend Brandon? He wants to see Bear Bronson versus Dutch with Abyss as the referee.
Oh, that sounds freaking awesome. I mean, seriously. Now, of course, Abyss, Joseph Parker, and Bygone Life. We all, of course, know that he doesn't wrestle anymore. But seriously, just let the two men run loose. It's been a long damn time since I've seen two agile, no-limit powerhouses in TNA especially go one-on-one and wreck fucking shop at each other. Yes, please, take my damn viewership. That's a match worth viewing on TNA Wrestling Television. Referee, he could just be squashed in the middle.
Well, yeah, and Abyss as the ref isn't out of line because, I mean, we did see Abyss reemerge in the Undead Realm.
No, okay, hold on. Time, I'm going to pause you there. The Undead Realm is not the same reality as the land of the living. You should know this by now if you did your work. And that was like closure. We saw Click, Doomsday, and Abyss faded away.
I'm just saying, the fact that we saw him on television shows that he would be willing to make an appearance if it was for the right thing. He's not just going to do a throwaway Abyss appearance, but I could see, like, especially if it's like a Monsters Ball match.
Oh, gosh.
Like, I could see Abyss making an appearance or being the official for that. Like, just the kind of wink, wink, nod to those who know.
Wink, wink, nod, nod. Okay, I can see that. But also, we've seen the Righteous introduce their own form of Monsters Ball in the Righteous Garden. So who knows what those two freaking psychopaths would do. And again, Dutch and Bear Bronson, 24 hours without food, water, and sunlight. JJ, what the fuck are you trying to do here, bro?
Hey, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
It's a step up TNA. I respect that. I mean, shoot, freaking Abyss and Raven and Fathers James Mitchell and
look, I have seen what Bear has been able to do since reinventing himself as the Deathmatch Berserker on the independent scene.
Of course, freaking of course.
I don't know if Dutch would be able to handle it.
I don't know, man.
I know Bear could.
Some gnarly shit. I've seen Dutch go for some gnarly shit. Also, in and out of ROH. And again, that Righteous Garden that Walter Cruz saw. Shout out to Mr. Lavalais, Scott today, Rage of Wrestling. I don't know, man. I think they're both pretty insane in the membrane. And we saw what happened when Moose was in his first ever Monsters Ball. As we return here to TNA Impact and look at the first ever TNA Knockouts World Television Championship Tournament. And thank you all again for continuing to stay with us during the TNA Impact Lounge break as we continue forward here with our coverage of TNA Impact tonight. As of course, earlier we saw Indi Hartwell overcome Vicious Vicki as we get ready for our next first round match. Take it away, Mackenzie Mitchell. All right, here we go. The Nomi. Gabby Forza makes me laugh. Gabby Forza, of course, for those that don't know, also from Creative Pro Academy, trained by Bear Bronson, Brian Myers, and Pat Buck. And of course, looking for her first opportunity here to leave a lasting impact in TNA, looking to make history. Been involved in this business now for a little bit over 3 years, and she is definitely a hybrid powerhouse. The world's strongest gnome, also known as Mother Earth for those that don't know. Former CAP Women's Champion and current, of course, champion right now with the Coastal Crown Championship for Expect the Unexpected Wrestling promotion. Yes, folks, that's an actual promotion. In fact, she's the inaugural champion out of New Jersey. As, of course, we get ready for this round one match. And again, the wildest, strongest gnome taking on the wild child from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Mainstay name out of that independent area, Jody looking to be the biggest threat towards the entire field in this tournament. And this will actually be their first ever one-on-one encounter, but they've actually faced each other on 2 other occasions. Jody Fred shared the ring with Gabby Forza as a tag team against Laney Luck and Nyla Rose back in 2024. And previously in 2025, Gabby Forza got the better of Danny Luna, Jody Fred, and Lavaya in a fatal 4-way. Jody Fred, of course, saying we go back years and years, but nothing's going to stand between her and making history being the first to hold that title. Of course, much like Indi, Hartwell, and Vicious Vicki, I expect mutual respect with these two, but I also expect these two to just run crazy. Talk about 2 standouts in their own freaking way. Jody Fred, of course, former bouncer of the Rebellion Complex. Bell reigns were underway, a mainstay of the Canadian area, trained by the walk woman Josh Alexander, been involved in this game for 8 years. The wild child of TNA. Gabby Forza, Jody Fred, actually 2 very similar styles, despite the fact the tail of the tape showed you Gabby Forza might have more in the strength department. Stiff condyle tie up here in the early going. Of course, Gabby Forza and Jody Fred garnering a lot of attention, as JJ pointed out during our TNA Impact break, working across the independent scene. When you figure about, again, when I talk about what this business represents and what TNA represents for a woman, where it feels like you can't be yourself, you don't belong, you can't be a champion. TNA shows that anybody can belong and can be what they deem they can actually be in this business, taking a chance on themselves, being themselves. Freaking menagerie here of sorts. Shout out to Rebel Tania, by the way. The Rebel Heart. Stay strong in your battle against ALS. God bless you. And right now, Forza just asking Jody Fred to bring it with the running shoulder tackle. These two give ODB a run for her sanity. And right now, up the ropes, Gabby Forza, standing switches, change misdirection, and finally takes Gabby down with the running shoulder block. There's a triple threat I need in my life. ODB, Jody Fred, and Gabby Forza. And right now, Jody Fred on the move, running in with a short-range clothesline, just teeing off against the most powerful gnome in the business. In the opening moments here right now, Jody Fred getting the better of her opponent, running again with another big splash. Of course, Jody Fred, former, of course, hockey player, and of course, these are disciplines that Jody Fred and Gabby Forza deal with outside the ring. And neither of these women make anything look pretty, but I guarantee you they make a lot of damn stuff look effective. Jody Fred, Gabby Forza, by the way, folks, has previously been involved in football, foosball, and lacrosse. Quite an academic background. Cover! And kick out at 1 by Gabby Forza. Now Potts looking for the submission. Jody Fred going for a crossface, the forearm across the jawline of one Gabby Forza. Gabby, though, again, quick to her feet with the leverage, now carrying all of Jody Fred's weight. And looking for the break, pushing her against the turnbuckles, and Jody still holding on to the grip, finally forced to let go. Around Gabby's throat, driving her shoulder in the midsection of Jody in the corner. Again, folks, you win and you're in, you're out and you're done. The definition of powerlifting here right now is Gabby Forza. Good grief. I haven't seen a woman this beefy since Nikki Blackheart. And right now, catching her on the run, up on the shoulder, and Gabby Forza with the run around. Grabbing her shoulder first, the turnbuckle, with the running power slam in the middle of the ring. And looking to follow up, maybe for a big Gabby bomb. Cover, hook up both legs, kick out at 2. Woof. At the range smile on Gabby Forza's face. Probably thought she had it there for a second. I love women when they psych themselves up in professional wrestling, especially those with maybe a screw loose. And again, the quickness of Gabby Forza, though. 1 foot springboard off the ropes with a Vader bomb. Jody Fred, though, great resilience, able to kick out. Now looking for the schoolgirl, the cover. Of course, Jody Fred, former TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champion, alongside Killer Curly. As part of MK Ultra, and formerly was a running mate alongside Danny Luna. During Danny Luna's short stay here, as both women collide in the middle of a TNA ring, and I'm loving this so far. The definition of meat. Women served. And again, these two refusing to give an inch and still throwing everything against each other. Ducks underneath the clothesline, gets in the midsection. And now Jody hoisting out Gabby on the shoulder. Possibly looking for the 745. Area code, of course, for Toronto. Got toe hold, though, and Gabby hung up across the second steel rope of the ring. And Jody Fred once again on the move, driving forward Her knees with the shoulder blades of Gabby. German suplex follow-up. Sending Gabby flying. Forza, though, to her benefit, on the outside of the ring, and Jody Fred knows she can't get a scissor render out there, and I definitely don't consider neither of these women going for a count out here. Too much pride with these two unique athletes of the business. And Jody Fred on the move again, another running, driving knee strike, driving Gabby to the floor and attacking the spine. But you gotta get Forza back inside the ring. Referee's discretion, of course, starting his 10 count or not. And now Jody scouting Gabby, running cannonball off the apron, floating Gabby up like an accordion. Of course, right now, getting a little bit of encouragement from the TNA faithful at ringside. Gabby Forza, for those that don't know, 5'4", 185 pounds. Jody Fred, 5'4", 141 pounds. Not that much of a difference in the tail of the tape. And again, Jody Fred, once again, going up to the top rope, scouting Gabby from high. Look out below. Whoop. Yeah, Gabby able to get out from the way. Whoa, man, bulldozed over Jody Fred with that running clothesline. Courtesy of your resident gnome that you didn't think you'd find your garden. Rebound into a power slam. And Gabby is filling it here. Up in the fireman's carry, Argentine backbreaker, airplane spin. Spin out rocket bomb 2, and that nearly advances. That was so damn close for Gabby. Wow. Forza loading up Jody Fred for one hell of a ride and a hard crash landing for a 2.5 with a high stack, pushing forward all of her body on the cover. Once again, look for the Gabby bomb. Able to get the boots up, though, and Jody creates separation and rocks Gabby. We're going to fall for again, just throwing her body through her opponent. Takes Gabby down, but once again, Jody looking to hoist her up this time. Up on the shoulders. Look at the strength. 435. Center of the ring at 416. The cover 2, and that is it. Jody Fred advances. What a ride. Shout out to Toronto right there with the F416. Excuse me, don't know my area codes. I'm not from Canada like our Canadian friend Ash. But Jody Fred, once again, rises to the occasion, pretty much the threat she is. Take a look at the show of strength here, by the way. You can tell that she had to muscle up Gabby for that. Fighting through what was certainly one hell of an endurance battle or an adrenaline rush, if not both, as Jody Fred now has punched her ticket into the quarterfinals. Wild Child, one step closer to creating history here to be the first holder of the TNA Knockouts television title. Jody Fred will, of course, be awaiting Jada Stone or Alicia Edwards in the quarterfinals. And on the other side of that bracket will be Mara Sade or Heather by Elegance, waiting for either of those two in the semis. As the field continues to thin here, and all these women looking to create history for the first time ever. As we go backstage with Mustafa Ali. I wonder what gets on his mind. Well, change is needed. So go ahead and set it up. Next week, State of the Order address. And attendance is mandatory. What is Mustafa Ali planning here? And who is he talking to off screen? I have no idea what that was about. Well, clearly Mustafa Ali is upset that the Order of 4 is not carrying what the mission statement is when it comes to their greatness in being leaders of TNA when they can't win a match regarding a championship. Tasha Steelz, the Great Hands, all ending up with butt kiss. We'll see who ends up with butt kiss tonight. Still to come in our main event for the TNA Knockouts World Championship as Zara Brookside defends against Lei Ling Lee in what is sure to be a form of hardcore combat. But coming up next, Casey Navarro will have a lot to say and a lot to share, and the Lesser Nemeth might also show up and get his head taken off again by the Promise. Casey Navarro will be in the ring next when we return to TNA Impact after this commercial break. Fuck TNA streaming services. Well, JJ, I'm sorry. It was a hell of a fight, though. I mean, I was impressed by the industry's strongest gnome. That was a damn good match. That was awesome.
Dude, Gabby is a beast. She deserves the dub.
Well,
anybody that doesn't know about Gabby, do your homework.
Bro.
Look into her. She does a lot of work for GCW, Jersey Championship Wrestling.
Right.
in and around the Jersey area specifically.
Yeah, exactly. She's found it out of freaking New Jersey. About to say it was Jersey versus Toronto, and honestly, JJ, looking at those two, the fact they were a tag team before, I wouldn't mind seeing those two become a tag team in TNA wrestling. I like their dynamic and their energy. I like that a lot.
That's fair, and I mean, to be honest, Jody hasn't done much since Danny Luna and her broke up.
Yeah, it makes me sad.
So if that's what it takes to get her back on TV screens, I'm not opposed to it. I feel Jody works better as a tag than she does as singles.
That's fair, considering she's a former TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champion 2 times over. I got a very fair point.
And especially since their division, needs tag teams, but that's for another day.
Landed. All right, fine. I'll be good. I'll be good.
I already got you ranting once tonight. Don't need to get it another time,
About to say, I'm the freaking man with the blood pressure that goes 1,000 miles and yet still somehow survives to tell the tale the next day. But nonetheless, I do see what you mean. And it's one of those things, though, where, again, when I think about TNA and what they represent in a woman being able to be themselves, proving you belong in this business, and you also can be a champion, I think Gabby Forza definitely fits the mold of a TNA knockout. I would love to see her here in TNA.
100.
Well, anyway, that being said, as of course we are in the TNA Lounge, waiting for TNA Impact to return this commercial break. At the Lesser Nemeth might confront Casey Navarro. We still, of course, have our main event. Speaking of TNA Knockouts, of course, the TNA Knockouts will be on the line as Zara Brooks defends against Lei Ling Lee. And, of course, I'm sure there'll be more action to continue forward here in the TNA Knockouts World Championship tournament, of course, as we keep covering TNA weekly basis. And overall, again, still too many commercial breaks, too many breaks, but you see what I mean. But I will say you definitely have kept it entertaining, so has everybody here in the chat. And now I got Bang Bang Sosa stuck in my head. Thanks a lot, Ricky Sosa. But again, folks, if you are enjoying what you're seeing and hearing, follow us today at SR Studios on the X for continued coverage of TNA Impact for the Knockout Championship Tournament and further PLE's favorites and specials across all things professional wrestling, damn it, since I don't know whether these breaks are 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or 35 seconds, and we are still on a break right now. But I will tell you this, the breaks do not happen here at Sumo Studios when it comes to our total non-stop watch-along schedule. Again, stay tuned. We'll be covering G1 Climax opening day as a retro watch-along this Sunday. We have shenanigans this Saturday where you continue to be part of the conversation and influence my freaking tirades, except this week, and I'll be out of town with friends and actually looking at a fireworks show. And of course, next month, all hands on deck when we go all in and deal with so much more as we put a slamming end to the summer with everything coming together with Lockdown, SummerSlam, and of course, NXT brings a heat wave and all in London, Wembley Stadium. And so predicting and so much more here. Of course, all the different facets of entertainment and wrestling brought to you, Curtis and Sumo Studios, looking to be your #1 reliable source here for all things professional wrestling and entertainment and combat sports. Damn it. Shout out to Staff Boy Sports Bar as well, with coverage of sports too. And again, I really mean what I meant to say earlier when I said Leon Slater needs to stay with TNA. Not just for TNA's benefit and namesake of building a new star that would be an original, but honest to God, your boy's bouncy, but your boy ain't bouncing far lately in WWE. I haven't seen him do anything of merit lately.
And that's fair, but they've also, they, much like the company across the street in Jacksonville, have a bit of a bloated roster right now.
Exactly. Inflation more than the economy. And speaking of inflation, let's see how much the lesser Nemeth inflates the newer Nemeth, the better Nemeth's ego, as we'll see what words are being shared by Casey Navarro as we return to TNA Wrestling. Welcome back. And once again, folks, here to TNA Impact, as we now are going to get words from Casey Navarro regarding the betrayal by Nick Nemeth. Should have seen that from a mile away, though. As, of course, he was taken into the danger zone last week after beating the lesser Nemeth in one-on-one action. It looked like Nick Nemeth wanted to see Ryan Nemeth and Casey Navarro work well together and maybe become champions together. But obviously it was a ruse, as blood, as they say, blood is thicker than water after Nick Nemeth took Casey Navarro into the danger zone. Literally parting ways on no freaking friendly terms with Casey Navarro. And let's see if Casey Navarro has to say for himself, a man that truly stands on his own. Let's see what Casey has to say here. Last week I learned a valuable lesson. Spent a lot of time with a man he respected. He called his hero. Well, you know what they say. Be careful when you meet your heroes. But now his words, he turned on me. He turned on me with a danger zone. I don't know what I did. Did I disappoint you? Did I do something wrong? You looked at me like a man, gave me a hug and hit me with your danger zone. So why don't you be a man, Nick? Bring your ass on out here. And come tell me face to face why you did what you did. Whoa, actually, he might actually get the wanted man here. Calling out the TNA World Champion. Looking to hear Nick Nemeth respond for his actions. Of course, Nick Nemeth, the now reigning and defending two-time TNA World Champion. And Nick Nemeth knows a thing or two about being betrayed in this business, honestly. So this might just be another painful lesson for Casey Navarro to learn from the hard way. Kid. My God, I did believe in you. We all did. And I thought, if I could just have some time, I can make you something special. You could be the next upcoming star of TNA, but I don't have much time. I realized that you didn't even deserve to stand near me. And kid, you're pretty good, but you just don't have it. Is that clear enough for you? Don't have it. I don't have it. I busted my ass for 11 years to get to TNA. Obviously, I have it. I mean, I got tons because I have it. I have it right here in Albany. The reason is because you don't have it. Damn! I just beat your brother. I was your brother doesn't have it. And that's aggravating. Oh! And Ryan Nemeth, that cheap spray tan lesser Nemeth from behind with another cowardly assault. Obviously set up by Nick Nemeth. Yeah, I'll tell you what Ryan Nemeth has. It's it, but it has two letters in front of it. Let's see what Nick Nemeth's here. It's easy to say blood figure wire because it is. But you don't deserve to be even in my shadow, much like anyone that's a entire roster. Never come near my family again. Just drop it, change, leave my drop my number, and leave me alone. In case Navarro looks like he's almost heartbroken here. And truly what he fought was somebody to take him into the future that he wanted to be side by side with, just dropped like yesterday's trash as Nick Nemeth stands tall alongside only his little brother, the only man he lets breathe the same space as him, apparently, not only here in TNA, but in general in the wrestling business. Well, we're moments away from our main event with also added equal, if not even more, emotional proportions and so much more on the line. Casey Navarro's future unknown, but the future of the TNA Knockouts World title will be contested for next on TNA Impact as a warrior looks to once again show that title should only be held by a real warrior and not an imposter. Xia Brookside looks to leave once we're all in the dark in the TNA Knockouts World Championships on the line. No disqualification next on TNA Impact after this commercial break. Fuck the streaming service. Before I, of course, bring us into the lounge, I just want to remind you people once again, thank you for tuning in here at the Simbo Studios. Please subscribe, comment, tell a friend. And again, we will be back here next week where I'm sure there'll be more TNA Knockouts World Television Championship Tournament action to follow. Not to mention, we know we have a State of the Order led by Mustafa Ali. Could that mean an excommunication? Could that mean a veto? Could that mean a vote of confidence? Possibly when it comes to the Order Force, Tasha Steelz, and the Great Hands. What sort of changes could Mustafa Ali have in store for his own regime and propaganda campaign, where he's been the only winner as of late? That and so much more to come forward next week on TNA Impact. Well, JJ, this is it. For Layling Lee, this is do or die. For Zaya Brookside, it's to finally rise to the occasion. One last Sunday night to truly prove her worth as a champion. Your thoughts?
I'm looking forward to this match. I mean, I have to try and find a way to watch it later, obviously, but
it'll be on YouTube. Trust me, they usually do that for the bigger marquee matches. Continue.
But this is going to be a banner. I mean, the whole reason I originally subscribed to TNA Plus was for the dog collar match,
right,
between Indi and Danny Luna. So I definitely anticipate this to be on that level.
Banger!
You know, Zaya Brookside has waited forever for her shot in the spotlight. Lei Yin Lee has definitely risen to the occasion since becoming a TNA knockout.
Accurate.
This is going to be, there's a reason this is the main event. Period.
You're damn
point
right.
blank.
You're damn right it's a reason it's the main event and the cornerstone of women's professional wrestling still, in my opinion. And again, we've also seen Zaya Brookside. She has shown a bit of a more aggressive hardcore side prior to this. Of course, outlasting Rosemary in the Monsters Ball. So again, we know that she can hang in tough times. We also know she can be quite vicious. For someone that calls herself the Angel of the Rain, she truly has brought out the devil in her, and it's led her to heaven as she looks to send Layling Lee once and for all to hell.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You know, the women, the knockouts division, that is the reason we tune in each and every week to TNA. That is the reason you have not given up on it yet.
Damn right.
Despite the fact that the Elegance brand has been dominant here for a while, you know, it looks like things are finally starting to move away from that.
For now.
Don't be so rude. You cannot sit here and tell me that Dana Brooke has not done a great job at reinventing herself here in TNA. Whether you like her or you hate her, she's done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, she went from a freaking Barbie doll female G.I. Joe action figure to a Botox-infused Barbie doll with 150 designs. But nonetheless, like I said, what TNA does, what women can do in TNA, proving the light. Definitely, Dana Brooks, that conversation, I will give you that. Despite the fact it's the most obnoxious freaking character development in TNA Knockouts history since probably the Beautiful People. But nonetheless,
Definitely.
At least the Beautiful People was full of three beautiful women, not a piss-poor intimidation of, rest in peace, Paul Rubin, Pee Wee Herman. And rest in peace, by the way, Bonnie Tyler, who we lost today, by the way. Underrated gem of the music business, in my opinion. And friends' opinions, too. That caught me off guard.
Totally agree. I will, you know, Total Eclipse of the Heart is probably her best known song, but I will forever remember her for holding out for a hero, which for years was Chris Hero's entrance theme.
There you go. Enough said. And how many times we heard that theme used in movies or reinvented or reworded for
Shrek
an advertisement. Shrek 2 is my first example of it. I'm just saying. And speaking
Fairy
of,
Godmother turned it into a banner in Shrek 2. Okay, let's not even front.
I'm going to argue that, but I'm also not going to argue that Rosemary. That was weird. Well, still to come, of course, as we return here to TNA Wrestling. Thank you, by the way, as always, JJ. Welcome back, folks, from the Impact Lounge, and welcome back to TNA Impact as we get ready for our main event. Again, let's look at the tail of the tape here. You see Zaya Brookside, Layling Lee, same height, one with the Dark Side DDT, one with the Thunderstruck kick. Of course, the reigning defending TNA Knockouts World Champion Zaya Brookside, but Layling Lee has overcome emotional adversity to be a two-time TNA Knockouts World Champion in her career. As a Warrior looks to once again rise to the occasion, and we'll see if her Bushido and fighting spirit is stronger than the darkness that has consumed Xia Brookside to lead her now to hold on to the Knockouts World Championship. It's main event time on TNA Impact tonight. The fact that Lei Ling Lee and Xia Brookside have kind of defined each other's TNA careers since both of them crossed the line, formerly together as the Angel Warriors, and the Wings literally burnt off when it came to the bond that brought these two together as friends and so close to each other. We're going to literally rise together was Lei Ling Lee's idea. But for Xia, it was always about being on her own. There was just a certain point where she just couldn't handle it anymore. The opportunities and success of Lei Ling Lee, and Xia didn't want to just co-star in it. She wanted it for herself, and at Summiversary, she seized it. There's only so many times, though, that Lei Ling Lee can take betrayal and defeat and not come back from it. And she's already come back from it twice. I don't know if third time, though, is going to play in her favor, especially since Xia Brookside got her first taste in what it means to hold the gold. Now we're going to see if she can actually prove that she can hold it. Xia Brookside, of course, more than willing to part ways with Lei Ling Lee in her pursuit for the TNA Knockouts World Championship, so much so in costing Lei Ling Lee a chance to bring that title back home. It almost felt like to me that Xia didn't initially want to take that title from Lei Ling Lee, but taking it from her just probably made it feel so much more sweeter and better. And at the end of the day, folks, we talked about before, this business, you don't have friends, and sometimes in this business, you gotta be selfish. And for Xia Brookside, who is still very young, second generation, and Lei Ling Lee immediately on the attack, not given any honorary conduct here, unleashing boiled over pent-up frustration. Sorry, Mackenzie Mitchell, no introductions for you, as at the end of the day, this is about one thing. Nothing else matters but the TNA Knockouts World title. Again, the blatant disrespect, the weeks and weeks of insults, and the absolute freaking additions to add to Lei Ling Lee's emotional regrets that Xia preyed upon. Lei Ling Lee's had freaking enough of it. The bell rings are underway, by the way. And again, this is no disqualification. Big pump kick by the former, of course, Singapore signed TNA wrestler. Again, there's no advantage here this time for the champion either. Another pump kick takes Xia up and over. Again, count disqualification means nothing. Title can only change hands or be decided via pinfall or submission inside the ring. And now Lei Ling Lee with that Japanese fan here. Look at him now, look out! Oh! Trying to lash out with that fan and a spinning kick against the steel ring steps, and Xia just avoiding certain disaster. Saying Brookside back inside the rings. Of course, that is where the decision has to be rendered here. And Xia looking for any sort of reprieve as Lei Ling Lee's been relentless on this attack and assault. And of course, most we've only seen Lei Ling Lee involved in conventional wrestling here in TNA. She hasn't been really needing to take it to a hardcore, violent demeanor. Xia Brookside, though, like I said, has already been previously involved in violent, hardcore matches that have tested her mentality, including against the likes of Rosemary, including a Monsters Ball. Now ripped off of the corner again, Lei Ling Lee just stomping away what feels like years of frustration that really only escalated back in April when Xia Brookside betrayed Lei Ling Lee and cost her a chance to regain the TNA Knockouts title. And immediately right now, just driving her elbow into the shoulders. Again, just working the spine, the upper body of Xia Brookside, obviously for that Thunderstruck. Or Warrior's Way for that matter. Don't forget, folks, Lei Ling Lee has two finishers. And Xia again, able to barely muster anything off of that right hand in the midsection. Now with wrist control. And again, Lei Ling Lee keeping Xia on the mat and underneath her foot for all it's worth. And these two can unleash hell on each other as vicious as they want with no repercussions except for defeat. Xia Brookside, by the way, is the 72nd TNA Knockouts World Champion in this company's history, following a legacy, as I said, led by the likes of so many, including some of my favorites, such as Tara, TNA Hall of Famer, Hardcore Country Mickey James, Taryn Terrell, Gail Kim, And of course, Rosemary, Laura Vanessa, known as Chelsea Green, Taya Valkyrie, the virtuous Diana Perrazzo, Jordan Grace, some of the all-time greats. And look out on the move with the tope suicida. And again, it's a no disqualification. It's a no fucks given. As Lei Ling Lee talks down to Xia Brookside in her pursuit of regaining the TNA Knockouts World Championship. And Xia Brookside doesn't know which way to even go right now or to look. She looks absolutely spent. Now trying to beg off against Lei Ling Lee. Boy, has that ship set sail. And not from Singapore either, I'm just saying. And Lei Ling Lee right now bringing Xia back inside the ring. Xia's just looking for separation at this point from this former Muay Thai Kung Fu master. Now Brookside covered and gets a 2 count. Lei Ling Lee nearly getting the title right there. And Xia reaching for that fan of Lei Ling Lee, and Lei Ling immediately stopping Xia from seizing it. Still in her hand, though. Brookside Pride just looking for some sort of weapon to play for her advantage, much like that turnbuckle did at Summerversary when she was able to seize the TNA Knockouts World Championship. Oh, and again, that fan to the already prone leg of Lei Ling Lee. That Xia Brookside has already assaulted. Oh, and just driving it like a spike in the exposed patella of Lei Ling Lee. And of course, if Lei Ling can't use that kick, she can't find the base for the Thunderstruck or the Warrior's Way. And she also can't freaking take Xia's head off. Now, adding a little bit of insult to injury, fanning herself. And Brookside right now using one of Lei Ling Lee's most traditional, of course, culturally assisted weapons here of sorts. As, of course, Lei Ling Lee so proud of her heritage in Singapore. Xia Brookside just proud of the darkness that she has let come to light that has led her to become the TNA Knockouts World Champion. And you know, we've seen it so many times in this business, man or women. There always is that point where either you've been a tag team or you work with somebody for so long, you have to find a way to prove it to yourself that maybe you're not necessarily just better than the other, but you could also be even better than what you believe you can be. And I think Xia Brookside added fuel to the fire, the fact she's just been trying to get out of her father's shadow. British legend, of course, Robbie Brookside, and there's a smile right now on Xia Brookside. Oh, boy. Got a leather belt in hand, probably looking to take the hide off her former friend. Oh, boy. Looking to crack that whip and exercise some extreme punishment here, leaving her mark on Lei Ling Lee. Tearing the hide. Good grief. And Lei Ling Lee screaming out in pain, only finding assistance with the ropes to stand up on one leg. And of course, Lei Ling Lee right now, the attack being focused on that left leg by Xia Brookside. And what could have been friendly competition, and what was friendly competition of bygone life, by the way, when Xia Brookside challenged Lei Ling Lee for the Knockouts World Championship, had turned to nothing but a visceral endgame. And right now, Xia Brookside tying the leg of Lei Ling Lee and trapping her. This is quite a modified submission here, almost a modified ankle lock being applied. Stretching out that ligament of Lei Ling Lee, already heavily exaggerated with the assist of that freaking leather strap across the boot and ankle, and driving the side of her body into the lower lumbar of the challenger, almost turning her into a freaking C. And the towel can change hands here tonight via pinfall or submission or verbal referee stoppage. If the referee thinks Lei Ling Lee cannot defend herself, it's the referee's discretion if he calls the match to stop. And right now, there is nowhere for Lei Ling Lee to go. She can only hope that Xia Brookside loses her grip on that belt or loses some leverage on this hold. Can Lei Ling Lee fight through the pain and seize the Knockouts World Championship? The future of the TNA Knockouts, hand the balance, the first of the counter. Gets a 2 count here. Oh, and again, right to the midsection this time, swinging for the fences. It's been nothing but a torture chamber right now by Xia Brookside. Literally excommunicating all of that early assault by Lei Ling Lee. and adding more damage already to the prone leg. And nearly gone a verbal submission there as Zaya Brookside has pretty much made sure Lee has not stopped screaming out in pain. Now looking at the buckle in hand and looking to drive it into the freaking skull of Lee. Good grief. Looking to literally take the blood, it looks like, from the challenger here. I did say again how emotionally charged this match is, not only for revenge, but for redemption. Tell two stories here when it comes to Zaya Brookside's absolute assurance and Lee looking to remove everything from her past. Knees driven up against the second rope as Zaya rebound off them, and Lee, oh man! Spinning back heel kick, didn't get off it though. Zaya on the move though. Able to sweep out the legs though, and Lee still fighting through the pain. Drives through with the right knee, still hobbling though on the left. And Zaya though, taking out sorts again, drop down with a drop kick. Explosive drop kick by Lee, and Zaya Brookside gathering her bearings. But again, Lee is almost unable to get any sort of vertical base on that left leg. Not just trying to get feeling back in the muscle. We're going to follow through, and again, unable to get the step up, running knee strike. As he tried to step up, again, unable to get that base and balance. And clearly, Zaya's game plan is playing to her advantage. Similar spot here right now at Summiversary, where Zaya Brookside took advantage of Lee, dropping her down face first and exposed turnbuckle. This time, though, mounted in the corner against a protected turnbuckle. Just driving her fist into the head of Zaya Brookside slowly and continuously. And of course, Lee can target Zaya any way she wishes, and there again is no disqualification. Unleashing pent-up frustration that's been setting over here since April. Trying to win the title for a third time to join a unique class that have held the TNA Knockouts World Championship at least 3 times over. Overhead exploder as Zaya Brookside rolls to the outside, looking for reprieve. The last time we had a 3-time TNA Knockouts World Champion was, you guessed it, folks, the Juggernaut Jordan Graves and the Virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo. Long may she always fucking reign. And right now, friendship and also well-being be damned as Lee looks for more tools of destruction underneath the ring. You never know what's underneath a TNA ring, by the way, folks. If you follow TNA as long as I have, for both the men and the women. Now bringing out a kendo stick and a steel chair. And even more plunder from underneath ringside here. More and more weapons right now, literally covering the ring. How far is Lee willing to go to put away someone that was formerly one of her closest friends, a sister in this business, and right now her primary foe? Now going to the opposite side of the ring, nothing there but a bunch of, looks like water and tools and table. Uh-oh. And there's a sinister smirk coming across the Warrior's face as it looks like she's looking to give in to what the people want here tonight. Table! We got a table, folks. It wouldn't be a no disqualification match in TNA Wrestling without a table or a door. But this is how much and this is how deeply personal this is led. But again, this is giving Zaya Brookside. I never understood this, by the way, with how much time you take in bringing out these weapons to set up your next plan for destruction. How much it does play to advantage towards your opponent that's regrouping on the opposite side. It's one thing to try and solve a grudge, another thing to try and seize a championship. Now Zaya slowly staggering back to her feet, trying to follow in. Giving face first into that table set up here against the apron. Zaya Brookside right now, literally paying for all of her sins. The definition of going to business for yourself and seeing if you profit or bankrupt. And how karma truly is a bitch. And right now, Lee looking to send Zaya Brookside back to hell, possibly with a powerbomb off the apron through that table. Zaya, though, trying to fight back, literally for not only her championship, but for her life. Brookside holding on to the bottom rope for leverage and able to escape Lee's grip and find a way back in the middle. Now back inside the ring, and Lee needs to regroup here and focus on the task at hand. Again, folks, next week, covering here on TNA Impact. We'll be back here. Slater Center will defend the X Division Championship against Fabian Eichner, and the TNA Knockouts World Championship Tournament continues as M by Elegance will take on Rosemary one-on-one. We also will see Harley Hudson going one-on-one with NXT's Thea Hale in round 1 action. And also Mustafa Ali presents the State of the Order address for the Order 4, and we'll see if he makes things great again or if he decides to disband. Also, Flopdog goes one-on-one with the face of the franchise as Moose looks to put down an annoying man here as freaking Timu Slick made this match official. That and so much more next week on TNA Impact. Now using the kendo stick almost like a freaking noose around the throat of Lei Ling Lee out of the corner here. And again, it's all perfectly legal. She can hold on to that position and choke out Lei Ling Lee as much as she wants. And once again, the Angel rises above the challenge of the night, showing her true colors. In a total eclipse of her heart since arriving here, of course, to TNA Wrestling. Almost like a days ago shot there with that kendo stick, though, grabbing the back of Hurricane. And what was Zaya looking for now? Now seizing the TNA Knockouts title. I mean, again, she can use the title if she wants. It's all legal here. There's no disqualification. Already calling herself champion, though. Might be a foregone conclusion. Bad karma, though, might be coming to play here. And crowd chanting that they want tables. Will Zaya Brookside oblige? Now repositioning that table. Might have her own designs for the stretch. He said, screw your table, and turned the table up and over. And Lei Ling Lee just throwing her body off the apron through Zaya Brookside. Brookside, again, too worried about making sure the fans didn't get what they want. And also at the expense of her opponent. Once again, driven back inside the ring. And that might have been a costly mistake by Brookside. Oh, and a chair to the spine. And Lei Ling Lee back on the attack. And Zaya Brookside with nowhere to go. On the poor end of this Full Metal Assault. Just hearing off. How good must this feel for Lei Ling Lee, though? Good grief. Almost see Zaya Brookside quivering off those shots with the steel chair across all of her body. Now Lei Ling Lee bringing the title back towards center. Setting up the TNA World Championship. Oh, jawbreaker counter to what may have been the Warrior's way. Oh, it runs through with the pump kick. I was just looking for that dark side DDT. Maybe trying to take a move outside Brookside's playbook there. Now, once again with a chair in hand, I almost feel like Lei Ling Lee literally is fighting through pure emotion, almost setting up her next move on instinct. Not exactly sure what she wants to do next, but just wants to dish out more punishment. Now laying Zaya out on a bed of chairs. Zaya Brookside laid out here, and Lei Ling Lee once again trying to go up to the top rope. Can she find her base? Costly rest! Lee missed and crashed into the steel chairs. And now Brookside with the title across the head. Riding for the challenger. Drapes the arm to cover. And kicked out at 2.5. Still, the warrior spirit lives through this fight. Much to the disbelief of Zaya Brookside. That title belt shot was straight across the head, and somehow Lei Ling Lee is still in this. Now both these women jogging for position here, finding on their knees, dishing out everything they got left in their own freaking playground of made punishments. Now Lei Ling Lee again trying to get the better, driving forward, and oh! Steel chair interception. Downside DDT on the chair. Cover to retain. And Zaya rises to the occasion again. Leaving Lei Ling Lee in the dark. Fatality. It was vicious. It was physical. It was emotional. And for Zaya Brookside, it was closure. A total eclipse of a past friendship forging forward a new legacy, still holding the TNA Knockouts World Champion as our Dark Angel of the ring. Again, the key moment here at the very time of this match was literally winding up a stiff, lethal shot and hit nothing but steel, and then followed up, dropped on her head, dark side DDT on the steel chair, and was lights out for Lei Ling Lei's chances at redemption. As Xia Brookside maintains her hold in the TNA Knockouts World Championship, and after last week, she says, "You're going to have to try and kill me to seize this from me." And if she's willing to do that to someone she once called her friend, I can only imagine what she's willing to do to anyone in this Knockouts division. Xia Brookside rises to the occasion tonight, leaves TNA tonight, still TNA Knockouts champion. Which way does the Warriors' way carry forward now? Is there light at the end of this proverbial dark tunnel? We'll have to find out next week. That and so much more to come forward here. But for now, TNA Impact comes to a close, and so do we. And I thank you all for tuning in. So once again, I have the Simple Studios. I am the Simple Noel Foster, reminding you to make a positive impact in life. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in to our coverage tonight of TNA Thursday Night Impact. Have a good night, folks.